Welcome to the latest edition of Cageside Speaks. My name is 14 Fitzpatrick, and for today's wonderful episode, it's WWE Payback. Now, I brought here with me three returning guests to this edition of Cageside Speaks. First up is Jomosexual.
Hey, how's it going?
Yep. And also returning is Kevin Green.
Hey, Mr. Green here, once again.
And finally, after her wonderful performance on the Lucha Underground show, which you can also watch on the Cageside Seats site, it's Tanya Rogers.
Hello, everybody, and please don't forget to check the SmackDown review. I do it every week. It's up at midnight on Friday morning.
And so let's start us off with let's go with the do you want to go with the main event angle first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so Roman Reigns and AJ Styles are feuding, and now they brought in Roman has brought in extra help in his cousins, the Usos, and AJ has suddenly started getting help from Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. And this means that everybody is, I guess you would call it kung fu fighting. And so let's start off with Matt. What are your thoughts on this main event angle?
Okay, so I've missed Raw the last couple of weeks due to work stuff, so I might have missed on a few things, but I'm actually really into this right now. It's making, I don't know, there's a... Well, where am I going with this? Shades of gray in this feud, you know. Like, I really liked the ending angle last week, where Gallows and Anderson wanted Styles to take out Roman, but he wouldn't because he's not a bad guy. Then the Usos came flying in with their own chairs and beat the crap out of Ganderson, as I like to call him, since they're not the Bullet Club yet. And then hold up. Okay, I'm good. I don't know, I just like where this is going. I'm happy that the Roman Styles actually seem like real people, and just it seems like it should be a main event feud, which is what I kind of feel like we were missing for a lot of all of last year, pretty much.
Well, see, you want to go next? Go ahead.
Sure, I agree with all of those points, Matt. So Tanya.
Well, see, it's very interesting because eventually AJ Styles is going to have to choose, and he hasn't really chosen if he's going to listen to his friends. And he said the next time to Roman that he's not going to hold back, but that could have been just talking tough. Let's see what he does in that situation. I love the layers that AJ doesn't want their guys' help. He didn't ask for their help. They just showed up and started cheating for it. And these are his friends, and they haven't done anything to him. So, he doesn't. He's in a very tough spot. And then the Usos they are being instigators. And they're stirring the pot because they're sour that the guys attacked them first to kind of get attention. So they're going to Roman yeah, AJ Styles is in it. Yeah, we're right with you, Oos. And, pumping Roman's head up. And, of course, Roman is going to trust AJ because he was in the Shield. He knows how this shit works. So he's like, nah, I ain't going to trust him. He's in with him. And it's getting so interesting, and if these 6 guys just keep having matches and killing each other for the next month,
Yeah.
Until something's gonna eventually AJ is gonna have to be either tell his friends to go to hell and they turn on him, or just say I'm down with the dark side. I want the championship. So
You shall
I
all
really
bow
like it.
before the phenomenal one.
Yes,
Or the phenomenal hobo, as I call him.
the potential for the story is great. They just need to, now that it's been set up, Stephanie and Shane can go fight over something else. Keep them out of it.
Fight over the lockbox.
Yep.
Fight over the women's championship, damn it. Or some, I don't know. Put some more attention to some mid-card things. But I didn't like them coming out. I don't think they needed to come out during that main event at all.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I mean, besides the fact that they recently just retired the old women's belt, they can fight over that.
The divas. See which one is the bigger diva.
Well, the bigger diva will always be Triple H. He actually won. Fun fact: he actually won the Cageside Seats Least Favored Diva of 2015 over such illustrious candidates as Eva Marie and the recently released Cameron. So he's gonna win that feud pretty easily. So Kevin, what are your thoughts on the main event angle?
Honestly, I think it's great. The main reason I think it's good is because it's completely fresh. Like, you know, it's a matchup we've never seen before, and these guys are two sides of the same coin almost. They're good guys that have that edge in them, and it's like the conflict between the two of them is like it's almost the same thing. Is that they're gonna have to each do something that they didn't want to do or do what they have to do in order to win, and it's very interesting, man. I think this matchup is I don't know. They bring out I don't know if it's an issue of AJ carrying Roman or just Roman being a good wrestler, but these guys are magic in the ring, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in Extreme Rules.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
I agree with you there.
The one thing about that match that I noticed is that Roman wasn't selling for 15 minutes straight.
Yeah.
So that might have been.
Oh, another thing
they
too.
let him do stuff.
about Roman Reigns, I wanted to say this point too. They're figuring out how to make him work on TV, and I think he works. I think because he came in the WWE in that Shield system, that 3-man backstage segment, you know, type of thing is his thing. Like, he needs somebody to bounce off of. I don't think he could come in the ring solo and cut a solo promo. He doesn't really have to, you know. But I think I like his backstage segments a lot. I like when you brought up, you know, the Usos is like, you know, getting in his ear and boosting him up, and I think he's getting more comfortable, and you know, he's adding, like you said earlier, layers to his character, and I think that's what's been missing. You know, he needs a fresh guy who he hasn't, you know, because you know he beat everybody already in the Shield, like, you know, so it's weird to see these guys feud again, and then, you know, it'd be a problem, you know. So, you know, having AJ Styles come fresh, it's a fresh guy. We all know his credentials. You know, he's on that level. He's worthy, and they're putting on great matches. You know, it's not like he's fighting Chris Jericho, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's somebody, it's somebody completely fresh, like, you know, and he's bringing in Luke Gallows, you know, guys completely fresh, so they could mess with the Usos. So I like the injection and the interaction. Like, Roman shouldn't touch anybody that he hasn't touched before, for lack of a better word right now. But you know, they should just keep feeding him fresh guys, like, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I personally have found this feud to be really interesting, mainly because of the fact that I am so happy that Roman Reigns is WWE champion, and I know that is such a contradictory opinion to what most people are saying about Roman, but I have had to deal with questionable champion after questionable champion for the last 2 years with this belt, which seems cursed, like many of the belts in WWE. Seriously, they really need to call an exorcist. And after having to deal with the dismal, apocalyptically bad run of Seth Rollins, I am just happy that there is finally a champion that I personally like, that it actually has the belt now. And this feud is also
title,
good.
damn it.
Yep. And I personally like the fact that both the Usos and Team Bald Bros are acting as the little devils on Roman and AJ's shoulders. telling them, "Man, we gotta strike first, man. We gotta fight back." And then they're starting to listen to those little devil's shoulders, and it's going to lead to more conflict and chaos, and it's a natural way of developing chaos in this feud. And now we have an Extreme Rules match, no disqualification, plenty of people are going to interfere in this match, and that leads us to our next point. Question: are they going to do the unthinkable and decide to debut Finn Balor at Extreme Rules?
I don't think so. I think if Balor debuts, it's going to be probably closer to SummerSlam, because I don't think he's going to debut before his cage match with Joe.
Mm-hmm. Matt,
you guys talking about Balor? You talking about Finn Balor? Oh. I think they're saving him to match up with Seth Rollins. To be honest with you, I think they're gonna use that as a SummerSlam program. I mean, that's what I would like to see. I mean, I don't think he should be touching Roman Reigns or Bray Wyatt yet. You know, maybe that could be a WrestleMania thing. I think Seth Rollins. You know, maybe if I remember thinking that maybe they don't go with AJ Styles and they go with the original guy, which was Finn Balor or Prince Devitt, whatever his name was back then. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be the main event angle, and maybe, you know, we might get the Shield reunion, Shield versus them. You know, I just think Finn Balor is going to be a part of the big program for SummerSlam, because you know he helped sell it out last year, the Takeover show. That was a pretty good ladder match with Kevin Owens, which was one of the first matches I think I've seen of Finn Balor, if not, I think. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's what I want to see.
Well, of course, you're a member of the Cult Full, so you want to see Finn Balor wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, I might skip that match.
I was about to say the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
God. Well, Finn is fine to me. He's kind of just a guy who wears face paint. But I actively, like, I don't care to see Seth Rollins anymore. So.
Yeah, my preferred thing for Seth Rollins is if WWE is so obsessive about this whole working with these independent promotions now,
right.
why don't you trade Rollins off to Progress so he can get squashed to death by Big Damo and Dave Mastiff? And if you have not seen those two, well, they're not small wrestlers by any state of the word.
I've never seen them before.
Oh, trust me, they're good. So, Matt, what do you think about the whole Finn situation?
Oh, I think I kind of agree with the other two. He's going to be up, not quite yet, but around SummerSlam time. I just don't think Finn's supposed to be the face of the men's division down in NXT.
Right.
I can't really see them wanting to turn him heel and then making it a little difficult for the crowd at wherever the hell they're going to be.
But I don't think people are going to know who he is. That don't watch NXT, because I don't watch NXT, and I'm
talking about at the Takeover, you know.
Oh yeah. He's over. Yeah, he's over at NXT and anything NXT. But it's like pretty much everybody. It's like ECW. Everybody's over in ECW, you know.
Oh yeah.
So well, not everybody is. Well, not everybody is over in NXT at this point. Although I would have to question.
I don't watch NXT, but like just going at just watching the takeovers. That's which I seen the last one. It's like almost everybody. Or maybe that's because they're in Europe.
Dallas.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right. That was the one before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly, since we're on the subject of NXT, we'll do it a little bit. Let us thank the Lord that they finally did the right thing, although they did it at a house show, although it was probably to make Teammate Burner and Storage Man, who are at the show, happy that Samoa Joe finally conquered the puny demon and crushed him and took his shiny thing, like we all wanted.
Well, he didn't actually conquer the demon. He didn't paint it up for you. He beat it.
I consider them the same person, actually.
Oh, well, I thought...
Oh, yeah, is that's supposed to mean something? It's like when he has a paint on, he's more powerful type of thing?
Yeah, it's supposed to.
That's what the fans have... I don't think NXT has said that. He just shows up to Takeover, painted special. And
Yeah, I never
people are
seen him.
like,
I never seen regular Finn Balor. Yeah, I only seen.
because you've only watched the Takeover.
Yeah, I only watched the Takeover.
Yeah, he does.
I just started
he only
watching
wears it at Takeover. Yeah, he only wears it at Takeover. But he
Yeah.
never loses regardless. So
You know what I don't understand about this? Why do, spoiler alert, why do Joe and Finn need 3 takeovers?
I think it's already been said. It's not a spoiler.
Oh, has it been?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was hitting the fast forward button a lot the last episode of NXT, so I kind of missed that. But yeah.
Although Joe did give us the greatest gif of all time with that irritated, angry look now that another hobo has somehow entered the roster.
Oh Lord, that's Eric Young.
Yep.
I was like, really, Eric Young, really?
That's the guy who did the Jace Daniel Bryan angle in TNA,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
At the same time, Daniel Bryan because I was actually watching TNA back then.
Right.
At the same time, Daniel Bryan was facing the Authority and won the championship. Eric Young, with a beard, went up against Dixie Carter and won the championship.
You're lying.
It was a complete ripoff.
Yep.
A complete ripoff. At the same time.
Yeah.
And then I think Dixie cut a promo after saying
That she was
alluded to
responsible.
WWE ripping them off or
Yes,
some crap like that.
she was the reason why small bearded wrestlers were so popular. I'm like, are you kidding me? Daniel Bryan is awesome. That's the reason he's so popular.
Yeah.
He also wasn't a career mid-carder before that point, too, but let's...
Speaking of the
TNA.
mid-card, that's actually a really good stopping point to the next segment, which is the IC Scramble Madness. We have 4 different guys who want the shiny thing, and it's currently being held by a guy who looks like he works at Caesar's Palace. The Miz, with his wife, what's her pronunciation? Maurice?
Yep.
Maurice. And they currently hold the gold, but unfortunately a very angry murder bear wants his shiny thing back after he just defeated evil. And also Cesaro is here, for whatever reason. So Tom, you want to start us off?
Okay, well, let me just say, first of all, Kevin Owens is wonderful. He's great, and he is pushed this man to the top, to the moon. I will always think that. Kevin Owens should be the face of the WWE, damn it. Anyway, it's so interesting to me because I wrote about it in my review. Nobody in this feud respects The Miz as champion, especially Sami Zayn, because The Miz is like, this is my baby. Don't pose with it. I earned this title. And no matter how you want to agree or disagree, he won those matches. That is his championship. So he's like, don't touch it. So Sami Zayn keeps touching it. And it seems just so, like, it seems so disrespectful to me.
Yeah, that seemed to me really disrespectful. Of course, Sami Zayn is nothing but disrespectful thus far in the WWE run that he's had.
Questions like, and another thing, to go back to Sami Zayn, I know people will get on me and Fizzy about this, but there's no denying. He came out after he lost to Kevin Owens. Okay, Kevin Owens pushed him after the match. He was able to get up and walk to the back. Why didn't you keep fighting with him? Why didn't you fight him when he was in the ring talking about you? No, he waited till Kevin Owens thought he was gone, sat there uncomfortable. He kind of sneak attacked him, and then because he sneak attacked him, Cesaro got cheated and lost the match. He has yet to personally tell Cesaro, hey man, I'm sorry, or anything like that. So it's kind of weird the way they're booking Sami Zayn. Like, are they trying to make him seem like a jerk? Because he's really coming to me looking like a jerk during this whole thing.
Of course, he has always thus far in this main roster run looked like a heel to me. His NXT run, he looked like a heel to me. And now Cesaro, a guy he faced a couple years ago in NXT, who was a villain back then, now suddenly realizes, oh God, now I have to deal with this guy again.
I think it's
So
just another case of the WWE faces just always acting like heels, you know, like with Orton making fat jokes at people and Cena's Photoshop skills.
Was that when he was feuding with Sami Zayn? Was he in NXT or was he doing double duty at the time, Cesaro? Just
It was double duty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He came down to like NXT.
was that the same time she was Charlotte and Natty was going at it too?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah,
around
it
that
was
time.
right around then.
Yeah, it was on. I think that match was their first match. One of their matches was at the first
Takeover.
NXT special. It was a rival. It wasn't even called Takeover
Oh, okay.
yet. And then I think the next Takeover was the Charlotte and Natty match. I think.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it was like in that same time.
Mm.
So you have Cesaro, who's now stuck in this position of having to play mediator to the increasingly evil tendencies of, well, evil. Kevin Owens, who is doing phenomenal work. He is just on fire. And and I'm another person who's been pushing for the KO as a main event face
Yes.
idea, because honestly, he fits the mold of a working class hero, and considering how bad the economy has gotten, this person would work in a face situation for people who are of a working class background.
Well, people always compare Ambrose to Stone Cold, but I saw Ambrose closer to Roddy Piper, but KO is been Stone Cold, the wrestler who reminds me, not like how he looks or how he wrestles, but his attitude.
Like you know that guy. That's
Yeah.
my friend. That's my cousin. That's my, you know.
And you don't want to fuck with that guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Tanya. Matt, do you have anything to add?
I don't even know if I want him as a face just because I love heel Owens so much.
He's gonna
That
get
commentary
weird,
he did at Payback.
He just has to stick to his stick. He came in saying he's fighting for his family, and that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he doesn't have
He
Stone
do what
Cold
he has to do. What he
thing.
has to do. Yeah, that's his gimmick. So
Yeah.
he's always going to be a tweener. You know.
I loved how it sounded like he was embarrassed just listening to Byron's commentary and some of the.
I'm embarrassed
I
to
loved
listen
it.
to Brian Saxton's commentary, personally. He's not the worst, but, like, there are better options out there, honestly.
But Byron is completely inoffensive. I forget he's on the commentary booth like most of the time. I forget he's there.
Yeah, same here. Sometimes I'll go a couple matches. I'm like, when was the last time Byron even spoke?
Yeah, and then he'll say something stupid, and you'll be like, "Oh, would you just shut up?"
Yeah. That's why I don't want you to talk.
Right? Yeah, that's why you could just sit there and just sit there.
So, Matt, do you have any other points to add to the four-way scramble here?
I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb though and say this might be depending on what the stipulation is, and this could be the match of the night at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
That's a limb. You got 4 really good guys in there that know how to entertain a crowd. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Honestly, we shouldn't forget Maurice, because she, at the last pay-per-view, did you notice the death glare she gave Kevin Owens? Like,
Oh no, I didn't see that.
my God, she's
I didn't
staring through him. She pulls the Miz out of the ring, and then she gives the biggest death glare I've ever seen anybody give. It was wonderful. You know, I also like the fact that is it odd to me, or are these two becoming more and more like a face to me? The
I
Miz
don't know.
and
Nah.
I think they're going for as much of, I can't think of what the word. They're trying to be like as annoying and dislikable as possible. Whenever I see those two on Miz TV, I'm almost hoping that one of my non-wrestling family members walks by, so they just go take a look and be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, I don't know, cause okay, the week before last, he came out like Roman Reigns was talking to the Miz, and the Miz was like, "Hey, I'm the first one who figured out that AJ Styles is up to something," and blah blah blah. And Roman Reigns just looked at him and punched him, and I was like, he didn't do anything. I was kind of like, why did you do that? And then the way Sammy was like antagonizing him, kept touching his belt. I was like, why don't you just hit him with it? If he wants to touch it so much, let him kiss it. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the like. I wouldn't be mad if the Miz somehow weaseled his way out of it and won, just because they all deserve it.
Yep.
I think Miz is gonna retain.
I think he is too.
I mean, the stipulation is possibly going to be a fatal four-way match. Miz has the best chance of retaining in that situation, and we haven't talked about him. Once again, it seems to be a bit of a problem for the guy, Cesaro. He has fantastic matches. Just there really isn't that much there.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're going to come down on other people for not having a character, what is Cesaro's character? A Swiss dude?
Yeah, I think he needs a girl on his side, too. Like, I liked him when he was with Oksana when he first came out, when he was Antonio Cesaro.
Well, see, the problem is they usually don't like putting guys who are supposed to be faces with beautiful women.
Yeah.
That's usually for like a heel act. Usually.
Yeah, you're right. Cause like Mrs. Girl, just brings him to nuclear level even worse. Like
They are perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Both in ring and in real life.
Yep.
Matt, do you have any thoughts on Cesaro?
I feel like I mean, at least now there's like something there, even if it's not much. The tearaway suit or whatever the hell that is, but I think he's missing like a rival or a feud or something, just so he's not, I'm Cesaro, I have a suit, I do stuff. I don't know.
Yes.
They were working with a little bit of something, him and Kevin Owens, because they mostly feuded on SmackDown, and that's pretty much like last year when Rollins was the champion. I was not watching Raw. So, like, they worked with something like Cesaro as being the immigrant. He spent 11 years trying to get to the WWE. He's missed so much of his, like, family back home to come to America and make good on something. So, if
he doesn't have a story.
That character and add in with the, like, James Bond type thing, I think that would work if they would just go back to the story he was trying to tell last year.
Yeah, because they just kind of just plugged him back in the mix, like it was a surprise return, and then he didn't get a chance to cut a promo or anything, so he's just, all right, I'm back, I'm in the mix. But he has nothing to say, where have you been? We all know he was hurt, but there's no, not even a vignette or something, Yeah,
that's what I think that would work with him. I think the crowd already wants to cheer him.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to give him a story and a dance.
And he already has one, so.
Yeah, he already has a story, but the problem is that he's not the best at promos. So it's going to be up to the person against him to carry the load on the promos. Cesaro can go in the ring. There is no question about that. He is obviously fully recovered from his injuries that he suffered, and he has just been performing lights out since his return. And they've given him the James Bond entrance. It's kind of interesting. It would actually work better in Europe, but in the Americas, we kind of aren't really, there are people who are fans of James Bond, but we're not as big as like Britain or the rest of Europe about James Bond. So it's maybe another dated cultural reference that Vince McMahon somehow stumbled upon.
Well, for Vince, he probably thinks all this James Bond stuff's brand new.
It debuted in 1967. It's obviously got to be new. So, what division do you guys want to focus on next? The tags or the U.S. Division?
The what?
United States Championship.
Oh, he said the what? Oh, okay, I get it.
Let's do the U.S.
There's no U.S. title scene.
There is actually.
Well, I guess they're trying now because they've put Rusev back. It's gonna be Rusev against Kalisto.
Yeah.
Presumably at Extreme Rules. I think it is Extreme Rules.
I hope they just don't job him out to a returning John Cena, which it looks like it's gonna be.
I don't know why does everybody keep saying that.
Because that's like he can't have a title. He can't be in the main event mix right now, and that title, he made that title mean something, and he should come back and do the U.S. Open Challenge again, but I don't know if his body's gonna hold up. But I think that title should be, the 20-minute match. Kalisto's capable of putting on those type of matches, but I just don't think he's ready yet. Because it's like watching Rey Mysterio. As much as I like Rey Mysterio, it's like, all right, how is he gonna trick this guy into falling in between the middle rope this time? So it's the same thing with Kalisto. So the whole match is building towards that moment, But he has a great moveset. Don't get me wrong, he's great. I just think maybe put him in the that cruiserweight thing, get him over with that, and
the thing is about the cruiserweight thing, the cruiserweight classic, that they want to make sure that it's non-contracted guys and NXT developmental guys that get the rub in this case.
I see. You're right, though. You're right.
Because Kalisto is plenty over at this point.
Yeah,
so...
he's selling masks and everything. Yeah, but I don't know. He's just not a champion I could get behind right now, personally.
I mean, I'm behind the guy. But the problem is that it's not the in-ring stuff that's the problem. It's the thorough problem with Kalisto in that, oh my God, do not let this man near a microphone ever again, please.
Yeah, his commentary during the Battle Royal wasn't very good. But I'm really excited for this match because he got two really good matches out of Ryback, in my opinion. So I want to see what he can do.
For now, but they still have him under contract for now, but they have his merch on clearance on WWE Shop, so indications are he's most likely going to be released in the next few days.
Yeah, he gone. He done.
Yep.
Although his contract is a bit confusing for WWE payroll to figure out because it's basically they are paying him in bank trucks full of meat, not actual money. He hates green stuff. Anything that's green is his kryptonite.
I'm waiting about a ton.
So, Matt, what are your thoughts on Kalisto versus Rusev?
All right. Well, yeah, like I was just saying, I'm actually really excited for this match because even though I do agree Ryback is he's more underrated and people kind of do just crap on him sometimes, but I don't think I've seen that quality of match from Ryback before. I just think, I don't know, I'm really behind Kalisto right now. I wish
him and Daniel Bryan were pretty good together.
Oh, when was that? That was back
in the beginning of his big run. He bust Ryback ass.
Last year.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about those. I'll have to go look those back up.
Look those up, man. Those are good matches. Those, brought out the vicious side of Daniel Bryan, he could really go. It was they're pretty good.
All right, yeah. I'm pretty excited, though, because I really like Rusev, I really like Kalisto, and hopefully this is not on the pre-show. That's all I can say about that.
It might be on the pre-show.
It might be.
It's going to be on the pre-show. It's definitely going to be the pre-show match.
That's why I don't really like it. It had a good place on the card. Now it's, in Kalisto is a pre-show type match.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I know it's not a bad thing, but, it is. It's not the actual show.
It matters. Where you're on the card matters.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yeah, for your ego as well,
And your paycheck.
Yeah, so for a Ryback to be literally in every place on the card, and then now he's the pre-show stopper, it's a shame, man. But it is what it is. This is business.
I mean, unfortunately, the one thing that isn't on clearance right now is the Ryback standee, and I was so hoping to get that for Kane A. Knight for him to throw knives at, honestly. I've been meaning to give him a shout-out for weeks on these podcasts, and finally was able to do so. He hates Ryback with the fury of 1,000 suns. In fact, I've actually been frequently emailing the guy with what I call the Ryback Watch 2016.
Yeah, the Ryback.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so, Tanya, what are your thoughts on Rusev versus Kalisto? Tanya? I'm not sure. I think we may have lost Tanya.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Rusev versus Kalisto?
Rusev Kalisto. I just want to see Rusev eat his heart.
Yeah.
Rusev want heart for
Crush.
breakfast.
I think it's going to. Kalisto is great at this, fighting with the big guys and surviving. I'm really behind Kalisto. I'm not the type of person who thinks everybody has to talk. I think they talk too damn much on the show. Shut up and fight.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you know, I'm behind Kalisto as like he is my underdog, so I'm gonna root for him. I hope he keeps the title. I hope John Cena comes back and he beats John Cena for the title. Whatever. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Rusev, I'm really happy that Rusev has finally gotten into a feud. He's now left the League of Nations behind and now is in this feud with the I don't know, the ultimate underdog, but Kalisto really isn't an underdog. He's a guy who has a lot of really good moves, and he's been able to use strategy against his opponents in the previous matches that he has had against the aforementioned Ryback, and it should be a very interesting match. We'll see how they do, although I do hope that Rusev rips his heart out, like Tanya said. Has it for brunch. So, our next match on this card is, of course, the tag match between the Vaudevillains and the New Day. How excited you folks are for the match?
Not very. I'm not very into the Vaudevillains. I hope New Day beats them in about 15 seconds, then we just move on.
Kevin?
I'm not interested.
Tanya?
Well, I've never really cared about them as a team, but I will say this for them: they give you a good tag team pay-per-view match. I've seen their takeovers, and they're pretty good at getting the crowd into it. And, I mean, they've had some pretty generic matches, but I feel like had Enzo not gotten injured, that would have been a good match. They're good at that, but like as far as like caring about the Vaudevillains, I just don't like. I don't see how that's gonna happen. I'm
Am I
sorry.
the only one who's looking forward to this match?
I mean, no, I think it's gonna be a good match because I don't like if they beat the New Day, I will riot. Let's all riot.
Yeah.
Screw that.
I will cheer.
No.
You know, I think it's possible the Vaudevillains actually might be able to get over his heels just by not being Enzo and Cass in New Day. If they just kind of stick around up there and occasionally go over them, you know.
Honestly, I really like the Vaudevillains. Also because of the fact that they're one of the few groups of... They're the only new team or new person that has debuted on this roster that Things and Stuff actually likes. So I have to root for them because Things lost two of her faves during this Black Friday cut. So I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them to go over the New Day. Cause that riot. I'm going to be happy about it because I don't mind the New Day. It's just that I'm not laughing. I think that it's an okay gimmick, but I understand they're having a good time and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I'm just losing interest in the New Day fast and need to see them have to face some adversity in the form of 1920s style grappling from Aiden English and Simon Gotch.
Can I say something real fast about
Sure.
that? Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the New Day thing. I mean, they have a great act going on, and I think it was great when they were feuding with the League of Nations because they weren't having any of that, like And I think those are the type of matchups that they need, that with teams that are not playing around, and that could beat them up. And I just don't think the Vaudevillains can stand a chance against, because like with the Freebird rules, you know, I think they should. I don't know, man. I'm just not. It's like, to me, it's like the Ascension when they came in. I'm just like, all right, who are you guys? You know.
Now, I've
You know?
actually been pushing for an idea in the threads that a lot of people seem to be somewhat against because it means taking another person out of NXT.
Yeah.
Why not pair the vaudevillains up with somebody who's actually kind of strong looking?
Exactly.
And I'm not referring to any of the strong guys in NXT. I'm referring to Dana Brooks. They could.
I never knew I wanted that.
She is like the biggest heat magnet in NXT besides Eva Marie, but her heat has like been dissipating lately. She can reteam with Emma on tag matches, and I've had this vision in my head that the vaudevillains could do that whole Wayne's World skit where they're like, you know how they like manliness and muscles? They see Dana Brooks and they go, bow down and go, "We're not worthy! We're not worthy!"
Actually, I might like them. They get Dana Brooks.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she is awesome. You know, she's this person who's so full of herself that she really believes all the hype that she's saying. Also, she pats people on the head. Looking forward to that first encounter between Renee Young and Dana Brooks when Dana tries to pat Renee's head. And Renee loses it. Because somebody's going to lose it when Dana Brooks pats somebody on the head.
That might be Tom Phillips, but he might be having flashbacks to Stephanie, too.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Okay, so it looks like the next segment we're going to be talking about is the women's division. Tanya, release the bomb.
Oh my God. Okay. I love Bret Hart to death. He's in one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. How many times are they gonna throw what happened to him in his face? That was just like, and then it's really, they're not even keeping it as a storyline. They've already pretty much forgotten about it because Charles Robinson is back to refereeing on SmackDown like nothing ever happened. Yeah. So it's like, you just did that to what? Why? I mean, he could have cheated some other way. Why even have Bret there? It was just like pointless. And then another thing is like, they're purposely keeping other women off TV so people can be interested in Charlotte, who is doing just fine, and Natty, who is bland as plain oatmeal. She's just boring.
She's the definition of what Vince McMahon said about Cesaro, really.
Right, she is. She gets cheered because she's a heart. Let's face. I mean, I like Natty. She's great in the ring, but nobody's chanting for her. Nobody's cheering. She every time she tagged, she had a tag match. I think it was in London against, I don't know who it was against, but her partners were Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Paige. And every single last one of them got a bigger reaction than her.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They got a much bigger reaction than she did. Of course, Paige is in Britain. And
one more thing I want to point out that pisses me off. This is reminding me of the Nikki Bella title run with Charlotte, where the woman holding the title is actually doing some good work, doing some great things, and that shit is getting overshadowed because she keeps cheating. And then AJ Lee, once again, when she had the title forever, what happened? She had somebody else cheating to win her. Like, why can they not book a strong woman who the crowd loves? She goes out there and freaking wins. What? I mean, they do it with the men all the time. But every time they want to give a woman in this company, especially recently, a sustained championship run, they give her a lackey and say she can't win on her own. Every single time. So what is the message that you're sending? Like, it's kind of pissing me off. Like, I think me and Fizzy realized it a couple of days ago.
yeah, I actually said that to you, that the heels constantly, it's constantly a female champion who's a heel who constantly interferes in matches and cheats. it brings down the whole division because there isn't a solid face or a solid heel that just doesn't need to cheat
or
50,000 times.
or use somebody. It's like a heel can cheat,
Yeah,
but why do you have to have a lackey?
yeah. Agreed. You know, AJ had it with Big Mama Cool, Tamina Snuka, Nikki Bella had her sister Brie, and Alicia Fox. And I'm not sure if Eve had a lackey or not, but she had her MMA background, so she didn't really need to cheat. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I'm so not interested. I mean, like, there's some stuff here that it could be alright. I don't know. I'm just so not interested in Natalia at all. Just, like, what if they would have done the screwjob angle with, like, Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks or somebody the crowd actually cared about? Then you'd have something here.
Then they wouldn't have had Bret Hart ringside to rub it in his face.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. I wish they would go back to what they were just doing, because I liked it. Like with Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte. I mean, I think there's a reason why those three got most of the TV time earlier in the year. It's because that outside of them, who active was really all that good? After those three was Paige, who's kind of overexposed. Then,
Basically, the Dean Ambrose of the division.
I mean, it's not that she's overexposed. She never beat anybody. She had 15 million title shots last year, and didn't win not a single one of them.
Yeah, and also add to the fact that she has horrific ring rust from her extended absences sometimes, and also because of the fact that she does media tours all the time, so she isn't as good in the ring as some of these people, although I think she is better than Charlotte. So, Kevin, do you have any opinions on this Charlotte Natty thing?
Yeah, sure do. Before I start, I just want to say one time for China as well, you know. Yeah, man, that one came out of nowhere, man. I just want to give my props to China for her contributions to the business. But as far as this angle, I just think it was a matter of both sides being petty, Bret Hart and the WWE, because even before the match took place, it was broadcasted like he didn't even want to be there, and he was there for Natty. You know, he's just going to be there for Natty, and I think they took that, you know, as disrespect, and they kind of just maybe booked that finish to rub it in his face, you know.
I'm pretty sure that's what.
But he didn't want to be out there. When I saw him, I understood why he didn't want to be out there. Like, you know, I don't want to see Bret Hart like that right now. You know what I mean? So
did you see in the entrance when he came out?
Yeah, he was hobbling.
Afterwards, he talked to Nat. He said, "I saw his list when he said, I'm doing this for you."
Yeah. You know, I could just tell he didn't want to be there, and I'm just like, all right, you know. But they did it anyway for the sake of an angle. You know, these guys. Sometimes it's still, you know, they say Bret's a mark for himself. He's not going to be out there, but he's still going to be out there for himself too, just to soak it in one more time. You know, I think, you know, same thing with Ric Flair. He's, you know, he that's all they know is the business. You know, but as for the match was pretty good. But the way I see it is, you know, Natty and Charlotte, they're kind of up there in age, so I think they're just getting their last runs out. The company is just giving them the favors, you know, to get a little program going and to establish the title, because these new ladies that are coming in, they're going to be around. They're going to be carrying the banner. You know, they just got to just wait, you know, and, you know, it'll come. But I just feel like, you know, maybe they're just giving this a run and, you know, just trying to set a foundation for a good future, instead of her just being fed Sasha Banks, you know, and then she drops the title Sasha, and then what? You know, that could be a main event for a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania, or, you know, one of the bigger shows. So I just think
Charlotte versus Sasha.
I mean, whoever Sasha is going to win the title from, I think it's something that could, you know, be on one of the big 4 pay-per-views. You know what I mean?
Oh. Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't matter who the champion is. She shouldn't win the title on a lesser pay-per-view. And I think they just want to give her the right program and give her the right gimmick. I don't know if they want to, ride the coattails of the whole Eddie Guerrero thing. So I think they really needed to step back because they know that what they have. They know they have a couple of pieces and they have some diamonds in the rough. Like, I know they didn't think AJ was going to do what he did, and he's been in the WWE for like 2-3 months and he's like right up there, like he's never left. Like, I don't know if it's like maybe the John Cena-esque spot, but he's kind of was the John Cena TNA if what everybody says is right,
Mm-hmm.
And, he feels right up there, like he belongs in that spot. Sorry to go into the men's division, but yeah. But as far as this match is, it was a good match. I don't think the as far as the finishes, you're kind of right about they're not being booked strong, but I just think that the way that they treat that title is that the title corrupts. It's always been the transition. They were a good guy, and then eventually they just started being corrupted by the title. They do that sometimes in the male division, but you're right. They always run that angle, because when Charlotte won the Divas champion, she was the sympathetic babyface who got screwed, and then she finally won it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
the same thing happened to her. Paige warned her. She's changed. Like, winning the title does that. Like, I think that's just something.
Well,
even CM Punk's reign, like,
yeah.
he turned to the dark side. Wasn't really turned to the dark side, but he was doing more heelish things. Then he got Paul Heyman. The same type of thing. Then he started cheating. Like, it happens I just feel like when you have that significant run with the strap, you play both sides. Eventually, the power, the keeping the title ultimately leads you to do whatever you got to do to keep the title.
Well, I think that they really do need to start developing stories that showcase that the title doesn't do that.
Right. I know exactly. But when you have the John Cena's, people don't want that.
Oh,
people don't want to find the odds and overcoming everything.
I've never had any issue with John Cena. It's just people who don't want this oversized action figure running around with the championship belt.
But he's always going to win.
They don't see They don't see themselves as him, the fans. They need that person to see, that's me in the ring. They want to imagine themselves like that.
I hear you.
There's two people that fit that description too, and they're Becky Lynch and why can I not remember? Bayley. Yes.
Bayley, the ace of NXT, the true ace. Continue, Matt.
I think it would be really interesting to run like an angle where someone like Naomi or Tamina approaches.
No, those two are hurt right now.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought they went back to relevance like they
Tamina had just had another knee surgery, and Naomi has an ankle injury.
All right. Then you could have someone like Summer Rae approach Becky or Bayley after they win the belt, and eventually one of them probably will, and say something about that, like the championship changes people. All these champions have been successful after they changed. Why don't you listen to me a little bit, and I can take you there? And then they just, try to resist that negative influence in Summer. I don't know. I think that could be something.
Yeah.
That could definitely be an angle. Honestly, Kevin actually described a very good point in his conversation in that they're focusing too much on the men. In this case, they're fighting. It's not about the championship. It's about the man. In this case, Ric Flair, and they're trying to get every last dime that they can. Well, every party involved, not just the WWE, but Rick, Brett, Danny, and Charlotte are trying to get every last dime out of this old territory program because they know that this is basically their last shot to draw any sort of money with this idea and program.
Right.
Because then it's going to be, well, Natty might have to. I think she's probably going to be leaving this year or the next year potentially.
Yeah, she's
Charlotte.
Good at the media stuff.
What?
She's good at the media stuff, like hosting the shows and stuff. She's good at that. Keep her on Total Divas.
Yeah. I really don't watch Total Divas, so
I
I
don't
don't
watch it
really
either.
know.
Yeah.
I don't really know what she does there. I just know that and that some people really don't like her on Total Divas in the threads, and then you have Charlotte, and as I've said before on previous podcasts, she's basically a 30-year-old woman who has 60-year-old knees. She was a former gymnast, and you can very clearly see the wear and tear of that gymnastics career has clearly affected her legs. Because she just moves at just such a sluggish pace because she's like trying to make sure, okay, don't fall over, don't fall over, don't hurt your knees, don't hurt your knees, because she's 6 feet 2 inches tall, and that's tough when you're a gymnast that size and you're having to do gymnastic spots, and now you're in this position where you're now a wrestler, and your body just isn't there anymore. The average age of retirement for a gymnast is 23 years of age for a reason. They just burn themselves out, and as I've said, they are trying to get their last dime out of this program, and I'm not looking forward to it. But then again, there really isn't anything for me to be interested in this women's division. And that's also not helped by the constant banging of the drums that every single one of their fan bases does when... I'm going to do a little Tanya bomb here, honestly. Every single time, every single week for the past, what seems like a year and a half, 2 years, the same banging of the drums. We want Sasha! No Paige! No Becky! No, Bailey should get a shot! What about Emma? What about Alexa? What about Naomi? What about Tamina? Names thrown out 50,000 times a day. People saying, we want this person or that person. The women's division is literally the most house-divided division when it comes to the fan base. Everybody wants their person, and they want no one else in that spotlight. And... because they think that they don't deserve it. And it drives me up a wall because I want to support everybody in this division. I don't just want to pick one person. I don't have favorites. I have people that I like, I have people I dislike, I have people I'm indifferent to, and I have people I hate. But I want to like what these people are doing. I just don't want to pick one that rules the roost of the division for years on end. And... they are trying to help each other. In the main roster, they're starting to do that because everybody from NXT does the same thing. They're trying to help each other. They're trying to make women's wrestling a thing that is popular in the United States. They're trying to reverse the damage of 50 years of terror that the fabulous Moolah brought upon this division. I completely understand what they are trying to do, and I really appreciate what they are doing. For women's wrestling in both NXT and the main roster. They are motivated. Every one of them is. And I want to see this work. But they decided to put a monkey wrench in Natalya into the women's division program, and you have Charlotte who's trying to do her best heel work, but again, she's overshadowed by her father, who is the man in this situation. They brought in Brett one last time because they know that Brett's health has been declining. He just went in for cancer treatments. So that door is starting to close there. It just doesn't send the right message that this is the division that we want to book. That you push Natty, who's never really been over, and Charlotte, who's a heel, but she's starting to get diminishing returns on her heel act. And... I don't know, man. I'm not even sure I want Sasha. Really. And I probably... I'm not the biggest Sasha Banks fan. You know, I don't like the high spots that she does. I don't like the risks that she takes. You know, I'm worried that she might end up in a wheelchair when she's 25. And I don't want to see that. I don't know. You guys think I'm wrong here?
I wish I could say that, but I literally just did that like 10 minutes ago. So I feel like that's kind of just widespread through the whole men's division too, except, you know, there's less outrage about your favorite not getting put on TV just because, you know, there's more like slots there.
Yeah, they only give certain shows the women only get one segment. So I can understand if your favorite's not getting on TV. Like people who like Kevin Owens and want him to be on top, well, he's still getting TV time, still
Yeah,
getting promo
exactly.
time. You know what I'm saying? You still get to see Kevin Owens. People who like Sasha Banks have to go to her Twitter or something on the internet. She has not been on TV in weeks, except for like talking to Shane McMahon. What the hell was that?
I just don't think they have something for her yet, you know?
They don't. In the immortal words of CM Punk, they only have things for John Cena. They don't really care what Cena's doing next. And Cena has been replaced with Roman Reigns.
That isn't necessarily a bad thing in this case, because I actually like
But
Roman
it's a
Reigns.
bad thing when you have like a roster that's so damn talented, and you're supposed to have writers whose job is to write. And you say that you have nothing for them. What the hell do you mean?
It means they need another Golden Truth segment.
Oh my God, that is the longest running angle currently. That has been going on longer than anything else on TV, and there is no point, and there is no payoff, and it's going to go on forever.
Well, yeah. It's like filler in a comic book. It's just supposed to be there to pad things out.
You know what would be so great? Because Emma has gotten, since she's been kicked back down to NXT, she's actually developed a character, and she's a pretty damn good promo. And you have somebody in Becky Lynch, okay, you want to run this program with Natalya. I think the best way to distract people from the fact that this program, it sucks to me, is to put another women's program. I guess they don't want to compare, but I think the people who really want some women's wrestling, quality women's wrestling, would not be as upset if they gave those two some time to tangle with each other. And Becky's great on the mic, as we've seen, because she pretty much carried all the mic work for Charlotte and Sasha heading into WrestleMania. She was the best one on the mic, so you get her, you get Emma, and some little backstage stuff, some little situations, have a few matches here and there. I mean, I don't see what the harm would do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-hour show. Give them a half an hour to play with, you know?
Yes, the women, that should be the mission. Okay, guys, we have 30 minutes for the women. Now what do we do with it?
They should do, you know?
Right. And then you have all the men. They have plenty.
You have then the other segments have the rest of the time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop doing 20-minute promos about how Shane and Stephanie are gonna book the damn show. Just have them book the damn show.
Yeah. Exactly. But like I said, I really don't like the fact that it's become a house divided in the women's division. Everybody wants their person, and I just don't feel that that's the best course of action. I think that things need to be calm, reasonable, and I'm asking for reason from wrestling fans, but that's not likely going to happen, obviously.
Do you think it could ever branch out to its own brand?
I'm not sure it could. I think that, I know that there's rumblings that they're planning on doing a women's tournament down in NXT.
Right.
Like the Cruiserweight Classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it could potentially. But again, the problem is that you're putting it on a separate division. You're saying these people can't hang with our main roster. They can't hang with the men. They have their own little place. And I don't like segregation in this situation. I want this to be equal. And the only way to be equal is, like Tanya said, give them 30 minutes, give them maybe an hour of multiple matches so that they can get over with the audience, which has been kind of apathetic to them.
Yeah, Emma got no reaction Monday, and it's not because Emma sucks and she can't do her job. She hasn't been given the opportunity with this character. They just send her out there with new music and some shoulder pads on and expect people to boo her. Yeah,
exactly.
I also think another thing is I think with the writers I'm also kind of sympathetic because it's almost kind of hard to long-term book anybody with the year that they had with injuries, because you just never know. So I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's like the matches it's like they're trying to fill up more time with less wrestling, but they should do it the other way around. Give the women more time. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I don't think it could. You're right. It shouldn't be its own thing. It shouldn't. But I think they should have more. They have the network. They should have more women's themed stuff. Give them a match on Superstars. Give them a 20 minutes on Superstars.
Yeah.
Have them present on all the shows. So there's other places you could go to check it out.
Well,
Give 'em-
they had actually started booking them on main event segments,
Okay.
and also they do Superstars ladies matches. So
Okay.
the problem is just nobody for some reason is over, except for, well, Sasha, who has an incredibly fanatical fan base, Paige, who also has an incredibly fanatical fan base, and then, of course, Bailey, who's actually has a rather sane fan base, except for the fact that they really hate Asuka now. They will not boo her, actually. It's gotten to that point where they're not booing Asuka because she beat Bailey. So that experiment then in NXT has, well, blown up in their face. And
are they supposed to be booing Asuka?
What?
Like, are they supposed to be booing Asuka? Like,
I think that was the intention, or maybe like making Asuka into a super face, but it just hasn't worked out that way. She's actually getting crickets now.
yeah.
That's sort of the disadvantage of having such a fanatical fan base in NXT, in that if you
much.
beat one of their favorites, they may not react to it the way that you want them to.
I feel like it's because she got choked out. She killed Bailey.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to cheer. I still think they should have did a pin, handshake, I respect you. Especially if they weren't going to call Bailey up.
But they always do that, though. I think that was a different finish. They always do that. Those
I'm saying if they wanted to keep Asuka
vicious. Yeah.
No, if they wanted to keep her vicious and accept the booze, then yeah, do that. But if they wanted to have her as a face,
But they weren't. Were they booing her when she choked her out?
No, it was dead silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, right now, if I'm thinking at this point when it comes to the women's division in NXT, sidetracking a little bit here, the most over heel at this point is Pixie Hulk. Alexa Bliss. Seriously. She's like the most over heel, though they keep giving her matchups where she somehow turns out to be the face. Like her match against Cameron and the time that she destroyed Tessa Blanchard.
I would like to forget that Cameron match even happened, because that was a worst match of the year candidate in my opinion, and had very little to do with what Alexa did.
it was just confusing as all heck.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that was one release I wasn't surprised by. I'm actually surprised they didn't release more women, and I'm kind of happy that she was the only one.
Yeah, that is a good sign there, and that actually perfectly segues us into this next segment, which is, of course, the Black Friday. We have talked a couple of times about it on the podcast. There were a bunch of superstars released yesterday, and I want to get quick reactions from the folks here. What are your thoughts on it? Let's start with Tanya.
Well, I mean, I thought all of the releases made sense. Like, even with some people are upset about Wade Barrett, but in my opinion, I feel like he's gotten like a lot of pushes in 6 years, and it never really stuck with him. So I wish him the best. Sandow, he hasn't done anything since last WrestleMania, and I always felt like somebody had something against him in that company. I always have, since coming back in 2013, like seeing how he was booked in the match when he cashed in against John Cena. Then they were just giving him random stuff, and because he was so good at playing characters, he got over, and they just decided to use that to help the Miz when he returned, and then just dropped him, and they were like, well, we're just gonna see if the fans forget about him. And they put him back on TV around like WrestleMania this year, and he was still getting pops, and they were like, well, it doesn't matter. We don't have anything planned for him, so they just released. It's sad to me, but I saw it coming.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Matt, what's your thoughts on the Black Friday?
All right. There's only two I was really I actually felt something about, and that was the ones Tanya mentioned, which were Sandow and Barrett. Personally, I really like Wade Barrett, mainly because of my house show stuff. He's been at two I've attended, and I thought he was really fun and interactive with the crowd and stuff. At one point in the last one I went to, in a match against Kalisto, he actually got a "Let's go Barrett, Barrett sucks" chant for a lot of the match. I don't know. I don't know. He was just one of the more fun acts there, and I'm happy he's finally gonna go do something else, just because mid-card was where he was gonna be until he left. But I don't know. I have good memories of him, I guess. And well, Sandow, for a lot of the reasons Tanya said. I'm just shocked they couldn't find him at least like a mid-card thing for him to do with how over he got with the Mizdow stuff. Even if it would have fizzled out eventually, then that's the time to take him off TV. Not when he's still getting big pops and is more over than a lot of the current roster.
I'd agree with you there. So, Kevin, what is your thoughts?
Same thing. Those are the two ones that kind of bummed me out, but you kind of saw it coming. But yeah, I haven't. I'm echoing what they said. It's they're good. I wish them the best.
Yeah, I wish them the best too. I mean, there are personally three or four releases that I'm bummed about. I think that Sandow's release was expected. I feel bad about that because, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, that was one of Things and Stuff's faves. That was one of her favorite wrestlers. That was a person that she had a connection to. And I feel bad that he was released. I feel bad that El Torito was released because he is another guy that was a person that Things and Stuff had a connection to, and they decided to cut him. And I know that they weren't using him for TV, which is kind of strange because he's actually a very good wrestler. Don't let his size fool you. He's a fantastic worker.
Yeah.
Then the other two would be Barrett, but in the case of Barrett, he can get work on the British independent scene, help booster that scene up, because his original intention when signing with WWE was basically, I want to help British wrestling, because British wrestling had been in decline for like the last 2 decades, and they needed something to boost that. So even if he wasn't the best in-ring worker, he was getting exposure and publicity to the British independent scene so that people like Paige and Neville could get signed. And then finally, Zeb Coulter, just from a standpoint of, he was actually a ghostwriter on a lot of segments for Raw last year, but I can understand why he decided to move elsewhere, because he'd recently had knee surgery last year, and for somebody his age, travel is not necessarily a thing that can be done anymore.
Right.
Him being on a more limited schedule so allows him to do stuff. I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, yeah, most of these releases were expected. Some of them weren't, haven't happened yet, but will probably happen in the next couple of days or a week or so. Like aforementioned Ryback, his merch is already on clearance, with the exception of the aforementioned Ryback standee, which I'm kind of upset is not on clearance, as I mentioned before. And also, possible retirement for Mark Henry, I'm hearing. And they're also moving a couple of people onto these Legends contracts. I think Daniel Bryan is on a Legends contract now. Or is going to be. So anyway, well, we're getting down to the part of the show where we will do the final thoughts. Let's start with you, Matt.
There's one thing we haven't talked about, and I feel like it might be the most exciting angle in the history of WWE. It could bring in a lot of business. It'll bring back the fans just completely. You'll have no more 2 point whatever ratings. and it'll make everybody excited again about wrestling. That angle happens to be the Puerto Rico stuff with Primo and Epico.
I thought you were going to say Jericho Ambrose.
Oh my god. I like
Okay, that's it for me. I just wanted to get that little troll comment in there before.
I'm actually looking forward to the Puerto Rico stuff. I'm looking forward to those two coming back because they're good tag workers. At least it would be better than 46-year-old Chris Jericho working a match when he thinks he's 25 against Dean Ambrose, who I've already described multiple times on the podcast as horrible.
Oh god, I forgot that feud was going, actually.
Oh, it still is. They're now feuding over a potted plant and talk shows, unfortunately. Kevin, your final thoughts?
I think I like the direction the company's going in. Fresh faces, new matchups, and more people are coming back from injury, so the landscape is going to change. So I'm looking forward to seeing these new, fresh matchups and interesting storylines. And I like how the main event scene is just the main event scene, the world title picture. There's no authority angle behind it. It's just two guys that have a beef, you know. And the women's division, I like to see that, you know, continue to evolve, and hopefully the women get more time and more segments. Hope they, you know, just give them 30 minutes to work with and see what happens, you know. They're putting on great matches, and yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, Tanya?
I think most of all, I'm looking forward to see what happens with AJ Styles. Like, a lot of people know me as like the Roman Reigns mark around Cageside seats, but like, y'all just don't know how much I have loved AJ Styles for the past 10 years, and I am so happy. Like, you know, like somebody went into my head and said, which two wrestlers do you want to see have a main event world title program? And they gave it to me. So, like, I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying Kevin Owens. I like Charlotte. I'm enjoying her. I want to see what happens when Ric Flair is not allowed with her ringside. Like, it's a lot I'm looking forward to, and there are some things that are bothering me. Other women not on TV. Baron Corbin's getting 50-50 when, like, you could have just kept him in NXT. But anyway.
The hero, Baron Corbin.
Right. But mostly, I'm just looking forward to seeing if WWE is going to continue on this pattern. There's no, like, the part-timers are gone. I don't see any Kane. I don't see Big Show. I don't see a lot of guys that I was tired of seeing last year. So that is a thumbs up for me.
It's honestly a new era in WWE, and I don't necessarily think it's just a tagline to sell shirts in this case. They really are trying to push new people, even if some of them aren't really working out. I'm glad that they're on TV at least.
Right.
I'm happy that Apollo Crews is on TV right now. I'm happy that Baron Corbin is on TV right now. I'm happy that the Vaudevillains are on TV right now. Mm-hmm. It's something different, and it's a change. I know a lot of people who are not particularly happy about some of those changes, but we need to see how things go and basically take our time with this. Let's not rush into things like we do 50,000 times that people go, oh, I'm excited, oh, I'm hyped, oh, this angle sucks. It changes on a dime, and we need to be patient. And I know that attendance is dropping on house shows. I know the TV ratings are dropping like a stone, but at the same time, it's a transitional period in WWE, and we need to be patient.
Right.
We need to be cautious, and we need to know that this is possibly something that might work. You know, if they are doing heel tactics, boo them. Don't just chant for yourself. If they're doing face tactics, cheer them. Don't just chant for yourself. You know, if you're at one of these shows, that's what you should probably be doing. And this is a transitional period, and they need all the help that they can get from the fans and people who attend these live events, who attend Monday Night Raw, who attend SmackDown. And It's a situation where everybody needs to contribute. Wrestlers, fans, we're in a tough economic period right now. There isn't as much disposable income for people to spend on wrestling shows anymore. Everything counts right now. And we need to see if this gets better. Because I want wrestling to get better. I really do. I am tired of hearing about the hashtag low morale reports in every single wrestling promotion out there right now. I'm tired of all of that. I'm tired of all this backstage politics stuff. I'm tired of just madness. I want calm. I want peace. I want this to work. I want this main event angle between Styles and Roman to work, you know, because I really like Roman Reigns now. He's the one champion, as I said in the show, that I really like to see do well, even though people are booing him for understandable reasons. They want to see him as a heel, although they keep putting him against guys who I view him as the face. And we just need to see. It's a time of transition. This summer could either end up as a really great summer of wrestling, or it could end up at like 1999, which was, what was it, the summer of suck? Well,
I'm looking forward to the summer angles too.
Yeah. I mean,
It's one of my favorite times in wrestling, the summer angle.
Oh, yeah. I love the spring, I love the summer, I love the fall angles. I don't like Mania season, but I like all of those other angles.
Yeah, the summer, it's a good time for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. It's a great one, guys.
Yep. And this has been another edition of Cageside Speaks. I'm 14 Fitzpatrick. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you for the next edition of Cageside Speaks. I'm not sure exactly what the next show is going to be. It's because the Cruiserweight Classic show has been delayed due to not announcing all of the participants yet. But certainly Extreme Rules will be on the air. I'm not sure who's going to be moderating that one. As soon as I send Kevin his fake mustaches and sombreros so that he can hide from the Lucha Underground fans, he might do that one, or I could do that one, depending on how things go, or if the angry mob is outside of his house.
Oh yeah, he killed that show worse than we did.
Yes, I was so happy for him. You know, it was therapy for KM Tierney because he's had to slog through 15 weeks of Lucha Underground. And oh boy, that season finale show is going to be so fun when we get to it. Anyway, folks, have a good day or good night, and we'll see you next time on Cageside Speaks. On Cageside Seats, your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling.